feels ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
To update you on my Christmas cards that we discussed last week, I have ordered them, so that means I will send them.
Yay.
Yeah, see, that doesn't work for me. Ordering them does not equal I will send them. You would think it would shame you into doing it. I have unopened boxes of Christmas cards that I have purchased and never sent.
Well, see, I went
Absolutely.
through all the trouble of picking out pictures and getting them put on the cards. So
You would
that
think.
means they will be mailed. It may not be until after Christmas, but they will still be mailed. People will receive them in the holiday season.
You have a lot of faith in yourself, and I think that's sweet.
I know myself. It's been many years.
See, you should have ordered them in time that you could bring them to luge camp, and then that's what you could be doing.
I know. I tried, but it didn't work. So now I'm stuck.
Did you all go to luge camp?
I'll be going in between when we're.
By the time people hear this, you will have gone, and you will have sent your cards, or not.
Yeah, let's hope.
But when people are listening to this, it will be either right before or right after Christmas, and luge camp will be over. So, and we will look forward to hearing more about that in a future episode.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, we will say hello and welcome to this Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Terri Morrow, and it feels like luge camp in my house because the heater is not working yet again. With me today are Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
My heater is working, but it's very, very, very cold outside. So it's working extra hard.
Well, today on the podcast, we are going to confess to our childhood misdeeds on our Friday speed round. We're going to shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup. Catherine and I are going to do a special round 2 to talk about what pop culture we're looking forward to in the year to come. And we're going to do some shameless self-promotion. But first, we're going to talk about a recent New York Times article on potted plant parenting. And Catherine, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, so this article discusses how teens might actually benefit from their parents' quiet presence in the house or the room where they are, even if they aren't really interacting. So that's how parents got compared to potted plants. They should just sit there and be as quiet as a fern. So we are asking today, what do you think? Did you find this reassuring, which is what the author says that she intended, or do you think it's just kind of dumb? And I know that Terri has a strong opinion.
Mom, you can be in the same room with me, but you can't say anything. Just sit there like a plant. Yes. This does not seem like a new teen attitude revelation.
Right.
I don't know. It's, there's no more assured topic for publication anywhere these days than I have a new take on parenting. Here's a new parenting theory. You know what? If you're hovering over your kid, you're doing it wrong. If you're giving your kid all sorts of independence, you're doing it wrong. Here's another thing that you could do, but probably next week we will tell you why. You can't just sit there like a potted plant. You have to do this thing. So, as with all parenting advice, depends on the kid. I would actually welcome the opportunity to be a potted plant. I am trying really hard to be a potted plant. I'll just be sitting over here doing my work. Y'all go about your business, and yet my young people seem to require what's something more involved than a potted plant.
They want you to be like a goldfish or a lizard. They don't want as much of your attention as you would give to a dog. But
Goldfish isn't that
a little
interactive.
bit more.
Sometimes I feel like they would like to be the potted plants and they would like me to be the constantly on duty gardener.
Right.
Of
What
which
did you
I have
think?
no green thumb.
What did you think, Nicole?
It actually is very timely for me because I'm at this stage with my daughter that we're definitely moving into the potted plant mode
Mhm.
because and it seems like it's a transition that's happened overnight. She used to be very attached to us, um, both in the house and outside of the house. And
Mhm.
I almost felt like it was like, it was it was a very strong attachment. So, but lately, she is wanting to just have her own space, but of course, I need to be around in case the poor darling needs a glass of water or needs to ask me a question about her homework so even though and then of course when I am not around, then the gnashing of teeth begins. But for example, when I was writing my book in the spring, oh, she was so indignant that I was busy writing a book and not available at every whim. But if I tried to be there and tried to be, doing what she wanted me to do, then she didn't like that either. So,
Mhm.
so then I just kind of pulled up a chair and sat in the corner and
And acted like a potted plant.
acted like a potted plant.
Catherine, your daughter needs like a potted plant that drives, right?
Exactly.
How does
She
that work?
she wants a potted plant that has like arms that can that can hold on to a steering wheel. Yeah. Yeah, I mean I thought that this made some sense, that just a lot of times the kids do want to just kind of sense that you're there, but they certainly don't want you to be speaking or interfering in any way with what they're doing. But they secretly find it comforting that you're there.
Yeah.
So that made a lot of sense to me in this particular article. So
Kind of stinks
but
if you're a parent who has to work, though. There was a little
yes,
shade
but
being thrown there. I mean, because I don't think parents say, "Oh, great, my kids are teenagers now. They don't need me anymore. I'm just going to go be a workaholic."
right.
Do they?
Some
Maybe they do.
do, though.
Maybe some do. But
Too. In my world, I've seen that a lot. I don't know if I'm at that age or my kids are at that age, but a lot of parents just assume, oh, they're fine. They're on their phone. They don't need me. They're doing their homework. They don't need me. I don't need to be here. And then the parents are off doing something else outside of the house or inside the house, whatever. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like even though I'm home and having to do so much work, I sometimes feel like, if you're not available, you're bad. That's not. I'm not sure you want to lay that down. It depends. There's some situations where you can't help it.
Anytime you have, besides a job, more than one kid, you're not
that too.
focusing all your attention on one of them because the other one needs stuff too.
Yeah, sometimes the plant has to go in a particular place, and then the other child has no plant.
Has no plant. They're not getting any fresh oxygen at all.
Right.
And how cruel is that?
You need to divide it into 2 pots. So
That's right.
But I think it's important to note, though, that despite, whatever age that they're at, they still need us around in some form. And I think even with my son being in university, he's, as independent as he is, I still get the phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
So have you found good ways to connect with him since he's not living in your house, or with your daughter who is? Like, what kinds of activities do you share, or what do you do when you spend time together?
Oh, I give him money, and then he wants to spend time. No, I'm just kidding. Well, fortunately he lives about 30 minutes from here, so we do see him a lot, and food is a big one. I'm not kidding you.
And laundry?
and laundry, food and laundry. So we find, I think of ways to lure him back to us. Or I'll go out there and meet him for lunch, or he comes home and does his laundry. And Christmas time, we're going to take them on a little vacation. So you adjust your ways as they get older, but the message is still clear, and that's, I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to interfere, but
Right.
I'm here, and can give you things that you still need from your parents. So I don't want to just push them off a ledge and say good luck.
That's very nice of you.
I want them around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard walking that line, though, between knowing when it's appropriate to interject your opinions and your, it's the whole, you can be in the room with me, but shut up, is clearly what they want, but not always what they need.
Right.
Sometimes the potted plant needs to reach over and disconnect the internet if there's something going on that it doesn't like. And sometimes it needs to say, do your homework, go outside, eat a good breakfast. They still need some parenting in addition to the just constant silent presence, but they don't always appreciate it. You can't just step back because that's what they want. I know why they want it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right.
Yeah. I don't know. What about your son, Catherine? I mean, he's still a bit younger, probably the youngest one here. The youngest child.
Yeah, he's 11. And it's hard sometimes because he disappears and watches videos or plays games or whatever. So we need ways to connect with him. I do find that when he does homework or even when he practices his music, if I'm nearby but not right in his face, that seems to help. So I try to do that. And, traveling with him or, taking him places, little outings, those tend to be good ways for us to spend some time together and do things. But it's hard because he's a busy kid too.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on.
I read this great book years ago, which it really has helped shape my parenting style. And it's about attachment parenting by Gordon Neufeld. I didn't know if you read that one, but it's a great read because it encourages you to stay attached to your kids, not in like a creepy way, but but it gives you strategies and reasons for wanting to stay connected with your kids and having them, make choices that are based on the relationship that you have with them, and that the influence of their peers isn't so great, so that helps get them through the teen years. I don't know, it was just kind of a really good, it really informed me and helped me with my parenting style, because you can be attached to your kids and still let them go out there and do their own thing. And I kind of feel like that's a little bit like potted plant parenting.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I picked out from the article was a statement about how teenagers seek new levels of emotional and physical distance from their parents, right? I mean, they're testing out their independence and trying to grow up and out. But it says, perhaps they, like toddlers, feel most at ease when their folks balance active engagement with detached availability. And I think that's kind of what you were getting at, Terri, with, sometimes you can be the potted plant and sometimes you have to be like, no.
That's a hard balance. And it's also a balance that there can be a difference of opinion on. But I'm coming at it also with kids who have developmental differences and are maybe not, when they were in the teenage years, they weren't necessarily working with a full set of teenage tools, and so they needed more intervention. And I certainly was involved in everything. They didn't go anywhere without me. And so now in their 20s, maybe they're starting to have some of that wanting less, but it's hard to tell, and it's hard for me to know where that balance is. You know, I'm trying to back off, and then I'm a nervous wreck. Because, you know, what if it's, you know, you want your toddler, you got to let go of your toddler for your toddler to walk, but sometimes your toddler falls on their face. So how do you prevent that? You know, how do you know when to let go of the bicycle, or how to...
Well, and also those are things that are not lasting problems, right? I mean, I feel like a toddler, the troubles and problems that a toddler can get into are much different from those that a teenager can get into.
You know, and there is no end of stories on the internet that make you think, where were the parents? Why did they let this happen? And it's like, well, maybe they were rhododendrons in the corner, and you know, all this stuff was going on, and they were just giving their peaceful presence while the kid was being bullied online, or was, you know, or bullying somebody online, or doing some horrible thing, or hacking something, or being hacked, or things are going on in school. How do you know? You can't even be a potted plant in school. They don't. Could I just go sit on the shelf in the classroom and be a potted plant from school? Would that be okay? I won't say a word. I'll just sit and watch. You know, you have no idea what's going on there. So it can be fraught. I mean, with healthy, well-adjusted teenagers who are not having any problems at school, are well-liked, and having, you know, general success, you know, you can just hang. You know, your role can be to fold laundry in the background while they're watching TV with their friends. That's great. But if they're not... Right. You know,
a very different story.
You're going to be in some trouble if you hang back.
So I think actually that's a good point, Terri, because I think it actually is dangerous to take the potted plant approach 100% of the time, because there are times that you do need to be more, have more of an eagle eye, be a little bit more intrusive, like a cactus.
Yes. It would
and poke at them and say, what's going on? What are you doing? How are things going?
And it would be nice if those situations announced themselves. Like if you had the little thing in the potted plant that you know tells you when you need to water it. If you had something like that said, "Oops, need to do something now," but you don't. You don't ever know unless you're over involved and nosy. and even then. But as we say with absolutely all parenting stuff, depends on the kid. And depends on the parent. Some parents are fundamentally incapable of being potted plants. My mother was not. that was not within her skill set.
And the hour.
Yeah, my mom wasn't either, Terri. Don't worry. Yeah. My mom was the cactus.
Yes.
No, you know what she was? She was a weed.
Oh. I don't know. I think my mom was like whatever is the opposite of the cactus, something that needs lots and lots of care and attention and pruning and, you know, careful watering, and, you know, will curl up and
wither
like some sort of,
if not tended properly,
hothouse flower.
That's right.
Delicate rose.
That's right. Well, it sounds like a lead into our speed round.
There you go.
How did we drive them crazy?
Exactly. So how did we drive our parents crazy? Or your siblings? What kind of trouble did you get into when you were a kid is our speed round topic this week. Catherine, what were you being
punished for
repeatedly as a child?
I think at home it was like back talk, you know, sass. That was a big one. And sometimes it would be, you know, not getting along with my siblings, but we did okay. I mean, when you have 3, that means there's always 2 against 1. You know, it's not always the same 2, but there's always, you know, the big ones against the little ones against the big one, the girls against the boy, whatever it is. And there was always something going on. And at school, I did not get in trouble. That just didn't happen.
You were a good student, but
always.
How about you, Terri? What was your...
I didn't get in trouble at home a whole lot, but it would have been for backtalk and sass also. And at school, though, I did get in trouble when I was a kid. I remember getting in trouble for reading during recess. I was supposed to be playing, and I just wanted to sit and read. Tiny violins start playing at this point.
Yeah.
And also, there was one time I had gotten a big box of stickers from my aunt, I think, and I was selling them on the playground. I got in trouble for that.
Your entrepreneurial spirit was not appreciated.
That's right. But when I got older, just talking about moms as hothouse flowers who need proper tending, I know if I didn't want to do something that my mother wanted me to do, and I had to want it, not to do it just because she said, but because I wanted to, that was a source of some tension. And I see it now with my daughter, the same thing with my kids. I want you to do this because you want to do it, not because I want you to do it, but I want you to do it. So that was always a difficult thing, and there was quite a bit of tension in the teenage and young adult years over that.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of silent treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just never wanted to be at home. So for whatever reason, I thought I just wanted to hang out with my friends and have a good time. And so I was constantly getting into trouble for not being at home and being out and not coming home. And
oh my.
So the teen years were a little rough. And my brother was 5 years younger than me, so it didn't really, the sibling thing didn't really exist, but
yeah.
My
sister was 18 years older than me, and the sibling thing existed only in my head, the sibling rivalry.
So anyway, I think that wraps up our speed round for today. Any other comments on childhood?
No more confessions.
We already know none of us got tattoos, so we didn't get in trouble for that.
Well, that's it for this episode speed round, and you can hear a new speed round every Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, and now we will bring you some of the things we have read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you in our Parenting Roundabout Roundup. Catherine, what have you enjoyed this week?
Well, Paige Weiner, who writes about exercise for Very Well, not on Very Well, but on her personal blog, had a piece on why you should avoid avoiding holiday weight gain, which I enjoyed very much. I thought she had some excellent points. So I wanted to mention that, and you'll find the link on our blog post for this episode.
Okay. How about you, Nicole?
Because I run a blog, sometimes I'll do like a free giveaway on my blog, and I use this platform called Rafflecopter, and I love it. It makes it all so easy, and it does all the work for you, and it picks the winner and notifies them, and it's just a great platform for people who blog and want to do giveaways or contests or anything that kind of engages their readership. So Rafflecopter.
Okay. I have to mention that this week I have one-upped Catherine and her Bluetooth bathroom fan with a Bluetooth toothbrush. There is now such a thing as a Bluetooth toothbrush, people, and I own one. I went to the dentist finally after like 2 years and got my teeth cleaned, and they said, "Here, don't you want this fancy new toothbrush?" And I was so relieved to have gotten through this whole experience. I said, "Yes, I will buy that expensive toothbrush with an app that goes with it."
Yeah.
So I believe it's Oral-B toothbrush. There's an app that will, if you line up your face in the camera, will tell you if you've brushed all of your teeth properly.
What?
Has a little thing, visualization that when you brush a particular area, it shows the color wearing away until you finally get it all clean, and it goes boing. And
wow,
supposedly,
no way.
Yes, quite fancy, and it keeps track of how many times you've brushed and whether you've flossed and whether you rinsed. You have to tell it those things so you could lie, but still, it's quite ridiculous, and yet kind of makes me want to brush my teeth, which is, I suppose, the goal. The only problem is there's like a little bracket to stick your phone against like a mirror in your bathroom so it holds steady while you brush your teeth. Not conceived for short people. So, I mean, I can see the top of my head in our bathroom mirror. So it really is not going to do, unless I bring a stool in, it's not going to do me too much good for brushing my teeth. But I'm working with it. I'm holding my phone as I brush my teeth, splattering it with toothpaste.
So you have
excellent.
to look at yourself in the mirror.
You have to look at yourself in the phone. You have to have the phone lined up so that your mouth is in a certain area, and then it just kind of guesses based on that, I guess, where you're brushing at any given time. Not an exact science, but I think the goal of it basically is for you to go, no, fancy, gonna brush my teeth. And it's
Right.
Wow.
And that will be it for our Parenting Roundabout Roundup this week. Everybody, go brush your teeth when you're done with this.
That's right.
And know that I am doing it fancier than you. And now this is usually where we have an interview segment. And for this week, Catherine and I thought with the new year looming that we would look ahead to some pop culture things coming our way and decide what we're looking forward to and what we're kind of dreading. So let's listen to that now.
Well, of course, the absolute biggest thing I am looking forward to in 2017, pop culture or otherwise, I'm pretty sure, is going to see Hamilton in Chicago
jealous.
in April.
In April. Was it like actually on Easter that you were going?
On Easter, because I thought, well, it might be like a teensy bit easier to get tickets for a major holiday. And I thought nothing will come up between to mess it up.
That's true.
You know,
no
nobody
luge camp on Easter.
Yes. Nobody will decide that, oh, look, we have like an hour of free ice time and we're going to schedule a practice or something. So yeah, I snagged it.
Family that's going to expect you to come over for dinner that day or something?
No,
they will understand.
We don't do all that much for Easter because everybody's too far away and it's not, we tend to not have enough time off to really travel. So in the past, we've usually just celebrated Easter with just the four of us. So
now are all four of you going to the show?
Yes, we're all going to go. And I will just drag them to Mass at some church. I'm sure Chicago has an abundance of Catholic churches.
I have that feeling. Yes, that is my impression. Cool.
So, yeah,
what a neat thing. How are your seats?
I think they're just okay, but you know, they're in the room where it happens.
Absolutely. So. I was just going to make that joke. You beat me to it. I am so excited for you and so jealous, and you will have to tell me everything. I don't want to just hear, oh, it's exactly as wonderful as you expect. Now I know so much more about its wonderfulness. I want details.
Details minute by minute.
I will, sooner or later, I will get back to the point of putting in for the lottery again.
Yeah.
I got burned, but now that the entire original cast is gone, maybe there's less of a demand. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and now that Chicago is happening and it's going to be in San Francisco pretty soon.
And London too, I hear.
Okay. So the demand is being spread out a little bit.
I guess. A lot of people who wanted tickets in New York are going to Chicago.
I don't know. Maybe.
It could be. Seems like easier to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see it. I've sort of made my peace with maybe I will see it when it comes to the high school next door to me in 2020 or something.
Right.
That's a little too soon. But still, I do hope, if we're talking about not what is happening in the year to come, but what we would like to, I do hope that Lin-Manuel Miranda will continue to turn out Hamilton-related product on the fairly steady schedule he has so far. For those of us who can't see it, you know, we got the documentary and we got the mixtape, and
the book.
And the
Hamilton,
book. Yes, first there was the book.
Hamilton.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And now there's going to be a mixtape part 2. Let's keep, just every now and then to string us along. Give us something to inspire us. I also look forward to seeing all of the Hamilton original cast as they spread out into the pop culture universe,
That's right.
And show up on sitcoms and TV procedurals and movies and whatnot, and we can say, I remember when I heard them on the cast album.
Right.
It seems like only yesterday that I did not see them on stage.
That I did not see them. That I just listened to them.
I remember seeing them on the documentary, and they were so good. So that will be fun. And I also look forward this year to finding something else that will captivate me to the ridiculous degree that Hamilton has. I don't know. 2016 held Hamilton over for me, but maybe there'll be something new that will just completely obsess me so that my kids can stop being sick of Hamilton and start being sick of something
Think
new.
of something else. There you go.
But in the meantime, I am still loving it.
Yeah.
So that is so exciting. I have nothing even close to that for 2017.
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
Yes.
In smaller things to anticipate, I have been watching This Is Us, and it was left
Have
on
you?
quite a cliffhanger
Wow.
in the last episode, and the new one's not coming out until January. So I'll be waiting to see what happens
Looking forward
there.
to that. I have completely dropped that, and I don't really feel compelled to pick it up, but maybe one of these days I'll have. It's just so hard for me to watch TV. I just really don't have that much time. I'm way behind on Speechless, and I'm more motivated to keep up on that than on This Is Us, but maybe I'll catch back up with it somewhere down the line.
I just watched
hear
a
good
couple
things.
I just watched a couple of Speechless episodes the other day, and there's one where it's so I thought of you because they're
The mother was
talking
being
about
particularly obnoxious.
no, they're talking about JJ potentially going out on a date, and I forget exactly how it went, but my dad said something like, "That's so normal," and Maya said, "Don't say normal, say typical."
Yes. Yeah, that's not, it's funny because I'm behind on that show, but they put so many clips on Facebook that I feel like I've watched a lot of these episodes. It's like every great little segment they put on there. It's like you don't really have to watch it on TV. You can just follow them on Facebook, and every time there's a clip, you watch it and you keep up. But
that's kind of how I keep up with like all the late night shows.
Yes.
So
Speaking of late night shows, we have 2 late night hosts coming up on awards shows. Jimmy Fallon is hosting the Golden Globes, yay, and Jimmy Kimmel is hosting the Oscars.
and
You can tell which Jimmy I prefer. But, the Golden Globes is usually just such a mess. But I still remember the opening number that Jimmy Fallon did for the Emmys in I don't know when it was, 2010 maybe. It was quite a while ago, but it was so terrific. I still watch it. I still look it up on YouTube and watch it. I'll have a link to it on the show notes. And if there's anything like that, I would just be delighted. It incorporated a lot of TV actors in it in a funny way. And I remember that very fondly. Kimmel, on the other hand, I am still remembering his Emmy stint, which involved peanut allergy jokes. So not so much looking forward to him.
That's right.
And so we'll see. We'll watch them anyway, and we will talk about them. I always enjoy live tweeting them with you and then talking about them afterwards. So that is something I'm looking forward to in 2017, even if the actual content of the awards ceremony may be less than interesting to me.
Right. The live tweeting makes it all worthwhile.
It does. It really does. What did we do before that?
No. We had parties with actual people in the room.
I think we've discussed this. So much nicer to be able to just party with people you'll never meet.
What else? Anything else? I mean, there's going to be the new Star Wars. That's like a year from now. The new Pitch Perfect also in a year.
I don't watch either of those, but there's a new Guardians of the Galaxy. That one I will probably get my butt to a theater to see.
Okay.
It was like before Moana, it was the only movie I had seen for years. So it's like every 2 or 3 years I find something that I got to go see in the theater. So I might go check that one out.
And then speaking of Hamilton cast, Daveed Diggs is in the movie of Wonder, that book Wonder by R.J. Palacio.
That's
which
somewhat problematic book Wonder.
Exactly. I have issues with that book. But Daveed Diggs is so fabulous. And Jacob Tremblay plays little boy. So
maybe that'll be something to watch when it comes to Netflix or cable. So I can turn it off if I want to.
Right.
But have you been watching Daveed Diggs on Blackish?
No, I haven't really. Everyone says
episode.
such good things about that show, and I haven't made time for it.
Yeah, it's the same problem as with everything else, is that I just don't have time. I'm working so much, and when I'm watching something, it's to talk about on our podcast. We have to schedule it.
Right.
The only way we're going to watch any of these things is if we make a promise to talk about them on the podcast, and then I have to squeeze it in. Otherwise, it just piles up and up and up. There's one TV show coming on Netflix that I'm kind of intrigued by, an updated version of One Day at a Time. with a Cuban American family, and Rita Moreno is in that. So I don't know. That is like a sacred relic of my childhood, that show. I loved that show. I identified with that show strongly. So I don't know if I want people messing with it. Is that really necessary? Couldn't it just be a show about a family without being an updated version of that particular show?
Right. I mean, you could very easily do a family show without.
Yeah, so I might peek at it when it comes out, and I hope it doesn't.
Peek at it with your hands over your eyes?
Annoy me. Yes. Do not dishonor the memory of Anne Romano and her children. Also, looking at music, upcoming music, seems like it's kind of past time for another Taylor Swift album. That might be the thing that obsesses me. So usually when I am a senior Swiftie, and generally will play her albums on nonstop until my children scream. So looking forward to that. What you got, Taylor? Yeah. I've been looking up to see when her next album was due, and everybody seemed to feel like it was due in October of 2016. So now it's anybody's guess.
Okay.
Come on, girl. I need some new tunes. Until then, I will be playing the Hamilton mixtape and the Hamilton cast album on repeat.
Right. There you go.
That's my jam. Another thing in terms of things that we wish would happen in 2017 and beyond is that I hope that the success of Speechless, which seems to be doing well in addition to just being a really good show, can this be the point at which we now say, hey, look, you can have a disabled person playing a disabled person. You don't have to have a person without a disability sitting in a wheelchair because people won't accept it. People are accepting it just fine. And that kid is acting the heck out of the part and showing what he can do. And it's so much richer with him being somebody who has the same disability as his character than it would be if it were a, TV cute kid sitting in a wheelchair. So let's have more of that, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, let's look at that. Let's look at Marlee Matlin on The West Wing, as we will be doing the next time we watch, because she is in Bartlett's third season of the year. Okay. And let's say that we don't have to pretend anymore. It's
very good.
Time. Yes. Anything else that you are looking forward to, cringing about the possibility of?
I think that covers it for now.
Okay. Well, we will enjoy bringing whatever it is we find during the year to our Parenting Roundabout audience on our weekly round twos, and hope to see you in 2017. Okay, it will be interesting to see if that all pans out the way we thought it would.
And now for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. So, Nicole, what do you have for us this time?
Well, hopefully by the time this podcast airs, I will have posted my infographic for people who want to know, or actually it's tips for grading students with disabilities in the classroom. So for teachers and other educators. So that will be at theinclusiveclass.com.
Nice.
Okay.
And how about you, Terri? What do you have for us?
Well, I've been trying to write a blog post for Friendship Circle about finding the right winter coat for your child with sensory challenges, because kids with sensory processing disorders are famously uncomfortable with the things that one might wear during the winter, like a coat or a sweater or anything other than like shorts and a t-shirt. So I've been doing some research on this and thinking about my own situation and what I know about kids with sensory challenges. And I've come to the conclusion that there is no such thing as a recommendable winter garment, because every kid has their own sensory challenges. Some kids like things to be tight, some things like them to be loose, some kids like hoods, some kids like different fabrics. So I've decided the way to go about this is to say that the 10 ways to not find a winter coat for your child with sensory issues. And I will have that post up on Friendship Circle by the time this airs. So go check it out, and maybe you will at least get a laugh. Awesome. If not a coat.
And I'm just going to mention my Facebook page for my mostly devoted to my writing on Very Well, but I also always mention this podcast
Yay.
at least every week. But I just try to share relevant articles there. And also we sometimes have a little discussion, like we recently talked about gifts for coaches. So it's just a little helpful post. Try to make it just once or twice a day at the most. So
Okay.
come and check it out on Facebook.
All right.
I'll do that. Well, sounds like this is it for our episode this week of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. Next week, we're going to be taking a little break, but if you follow us on Twitter at Roundabout Chat, we'll be tweeting quotes from all our past year's episodes, and you can catch up on any that you missed. You can listen to podcast episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download it from iTunes. Please subscribe so you get all of our podcasts and mini episodes. You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Nicole Eridix, Terri is at Mamatude, and Catherine is at About Family Fit. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram as well. Best of all, stop by our blog at parentingroundabout.com and read all the recaps, find links on the stories that we've mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Moran for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.